Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 225.
On Now You Know.
We're brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. You make this show possible, and we got some pretty great perks, so you can check those out by heading over to patreon.com/nowyouknow.
And we're sponsored by BigBattery.com with the best battery prices in the USA, guaranteed. If you've got something you need to power, from homes to cars, RVs to boats, and much more, BigBattery.com has you covered, offering the newest battery tech. Use the code NOWYOUKNOW to save 5% off your purchase today at BigBattery.com.
Now, you might love all the stuff that we talk about on this channel, but we really can't teach you how to, do neural networks.
But you know who can? Our friends at Brilliant.
Thank you, Brilliant, for sponsoring us and making learning fun.
There are so many cool courses you can take on Brilliant, because let's get real for a second. If you've got learners in the house who have been struggling with Zoom school this year, Brilliant could be a great supplement.
Brilliant offers over 60 interactive courses, everything from search engines to quantum computing.
Over 8 million people have learned using Brilliant, which helps you see concepts visually and interact with them, and poses questions that get you to think.
To support our channel and learn more about Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/nowyouknow and sign up for free.
And also, the first 200 people that go to that link will get 20% off the annual premium subscription.
And we're brought to you by ecoware.us. We've got lots of different shirts for you to check out. There's also beanies, hoodies, jackets, and hats. So head on over to ecoware.us. We carbon offset the manufacturing, the shipping, and the life cycle of your purchase. And we plant a tree for every order. And we're starting to help to cap wells for every purchase.
So Tesla just released the over-the-air update 2020.48.25 a little after Christmas, but it's got some little goodies in there. Let's see what we got.
So right off the bat, improvements to release notes.
Oh, what I was waiting for.
So it's kind of confusing. They have in the release notes, improvements to release notes, and it's improved. So it's like a really meta. But anyway, now with every update, it'll kind of break out what each thing is, so it's a little bit more easy to understand.
With icons.
Yeah, so that way you know, oh, this has to do with gaming, because it shows the gaming icons there. Nice, I like that. But then second and foremost is a change to the visualization section on the left-hand side of the screen. So there's a lot more left-hand side space that's now taken up by that visualization. And it also has updated the 3D model of your car. So if you roll down the windows, that'll be reflected in the model. Even when you open the doors, the front, the lights, everything to do with your car is now modeled as a 3D model that you can zoom around, like the wheels turning and everything. So it makes the whole car feel completely new because you have this new UI in your car.
Cool feature I really like about this update, in fact, I think it's my favorite, is that when you're driving, the visualization will show the next turn in the navigation list above the car on the left if the navigation is covered by something in the car app. So for instance, a lot of times you're driving along, your passenger is playing with the screen.
Yep, looking at music or something. You don't see the map, which also would have all of the turn-by-turn navigation on it. And, oh, you missed an exit. Or, oh, you missed an important turn. And it's like, stop playing with that. So you're constantly like, I know that I'm coming up to an exit. Stop. I need to see what I'm doing. Now, it's right there on top of the screen. So if someone is using it there, it very smartly displays it over the driving visualization, which I think is pretty cool.
So with this change, lots of the buttons and the indicators have moved.
Yeah, including the speed. So now the speed is actually closer and up into the left-hand corner. So it's closer to a center binnacle, but I love not having a center binnacle, putting the steering wheel wherever I want. But I want my map back. I loved having the big map, and now it's smaller. I want to make it bigger again.
Well, so does Mike. Mike said a layout option picker would be nice. And Elon said,
we will offer multiple display options.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
Got upset prematurely.
Well, I mean, this is great because I want all map.
Are they going to offer all map?
I want, all map. I want that to be one of the features, and it's just all the map. Because you don't need the driving visualization. I mean,
that's true.
And once you get to full self-driving, then you might want the full, the visualization, but you might just want to be watching Netflix.
A lot of people might say this is the biggest feature in this update.
The boombox mode. This is the latest and greatest addition to Tesla's technology. You can now play sounds on the exterior of your car.
If you've got the speaker, which we don't.
Only Teslas that are pre-2018. You have to have bought a car after like September of 2019 to have the exterior speaker. The benefit of this is that it doesn't make any noise on the outside of the car, which I like. I like having a quiet car. I said that I would cut any wire that was connected to any speaker, but this might change my mind.
Yeah, because now you can choose the sounds you want. Not only as Todd is showing us here as the Tesla pre-selected sounds, but you can actually put your own sounds on your USB storage device and play whatever you want.
Now, we're not sure if this works kind of seamlessly, like if you kind of just set it and forget it. Well, let's check out some of these sounds.
Snake jazz.
I mean, snake jazz? Of course.
And for people like me who would have been like, I don't want a silent car, and I'm going to go snip some wires. This, actually, I kind of want to put the speaker in.
Right?
I mean, I actually want to go, the thing that I said that I would rip out of my car, I now want to put in my car because it's kind of cool. And this increases safety because there will be people who probably already have snipped the wire to their speaker because they didn't want the sound. Now that they know that this is actually a feature, on top of safety, which is boring, this could increase the number of people who have their speakers attached.
If we wanted to add a speaker, I wonder if Boombox would notice that we'd added the speaker or whether we just don't have that capability.
Right. I mean, it would be great if Tesla said, bring in your car and for, X number of dollars, we will install a speaker for you, because they'd actually be increasing safety to a certain extent, if you think about it that way. Notice how I completely flipped as soon as they add one little dinky feature to their car. I think
Dinky?
I think
exterior fart mode?
Yeah, that's pretty dinky. Well, if not dinky, stinky. Yeah, so also fart mode. Now you can fart on the outside of the car, just like a real car.
And there's scheduled departure improvements.
So now you can precondition the battery and warm up the battery and warm up the inside of your car when your car is not plugged in.
Oh,
and
like at work or something.
Yeah, this is nice because when you start driving, you're not going to have like no regen braking. You'll have some regen braking depending on how long you've been preconditioning the battery for. It will use more range, so it's a little bit risky because you could like precondition for a while and like, I forgot to leave for work, and then it's like, I don't have enough range because your car wasn't plugged in. But overall, I think that it's nice to have that option. And similarly, in a update like just a couple weeks ago, there was also that update that meant that if you turned on the climate in your car, it would also precondition the battery.
And there's some new games and features. So you've got Polytopia, which is one of Elon's favorites.
Yep.
You've got Solitaire, which seems to be everyone at my age and older's favorite. And you've got
some kind of a cat adventure game.
Yeah, cat adventure game.
I'll have to take a look into that.
But here's an interesting thing we found out.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 games you can now play while you're driving.
No. Bad. Your passenger can play while you are driving.
But I have a question for you. If you don't have a passenger, does the car know?
It knows that you don't have a passenger, but it'll still let you claim that you are a passenger. So if you're driving and you want to play solitaire, you just have to lie, which you're lying. So shame on you. But then it'll let you play solitaire while you drive.
I don't know if I don't know if they should have done that.
I just want to point out, while I'm driving, I can do anything in the world. I can say, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Hi, everybody. I could do whatever I want. So I could play solitaire on my phone if I wanted to. I could play Polytopia. I could play any number of things. There's nothing that the car is doing. In fact, my car doesn't even ask me if I'm a passenger in a vehicle.
But there is another thing that we found out.
Mm-hmm.
Was this.
Now, you might be saying, what are you talking about? This is nothing. So if you go to theater mode, normally it would just tell you theater mode has been disabled.
When you're driving.
When you're driving. You have to be parked in order to access theater mode. However, what we found is that it just said you need to be connected to Wi-Fi while you're driving. And then we connected it to Wi-Fi. I used my hotspot on my phone and it didn't work. Like it just seemed like it was like connect to the internet. And then it brought me to the connection screen. I'm already connected to the internet. And then I was like, okay, so didn't work.
But I mean, this is different.
This is different. So my thought...
Conjecture alert.
Here we go. My thought is that they're going to allow you to watch Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, Twitch.
It's coming, I bet.
In the future while you're driving.
Yeah. I bet.
I don't want that to be true necessarily because I think that that's a bad thing.
You want it.
I want it once full self-driving is like legit,
Like level 5.
like, yeah, like now you
Level
can
4.
feel free to fall asleep.
Right.
You know, we'll wake you up if we need you,
Right.
kind of thing. But not now.
Well, maybe it's just getting ready for level 4.
It might just be a bug. Just wanted to tell everyone about it because maybe it's going to be interesting.
Now, for those of you complaining right now, like I kind of am, Elon did say it's one flame or half a flame if you don't have a car with pedestrian speaker. We couldn't get everything done in time, but more stuff coming.
So this is like the first half of the holiday update.
I think we need a Patreon poll.
Yes. So if you head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and you are signed up for polls, you can put in some features that you want to see for the holiday update part 2, and we will vote on them later this week. And
Of course, Elon will implement them.
well, it'll just be good to know what everyone wants.
And if you want to share this news with someone about what just happened in the over-the-air update, you can go to our Now You Know Clips channel where we've cut this into a bite-sized clip that you can share with your friends. All right, but some even bigger news, I think. This is a big tweet. Padge said, Elon, can you allow full self-driving to be paid for annually? Makes no sense buying full self-driving if I'm leasing.
And Elon said, absolutely. We'll release full self-driving subscription early next year.
Whoa, this is
Now,
big for 2 reasons.
The first reason is like, okay, so I could pay for full self-driving monthly, annually, something like that, whatever. But what that actually means is that I think actual full self-driving, like what people have on the beta, should be available to everyone early next year.
Now, you might be saying that's not big news because remember that Elon had said during the Q1 2020 earnings call in April, he said, I think we will offer full self-driving as a subscription service, but it will be probably towards the end of this year, meaning this year, 2020. So he's a little late. Elon said, I should say, it will still make sense to buy full self-driving as an option, as in our view, buying full self-driving is an investment in the future. And we are confident that it is an investment that will pay off to the consumer, to the benefit of the consumer. In my opinion, buying FSD option is something people will not regret doing. And then to back that up, the CFO, Zachary Kirkhorn, said, agree. And financially, rolling the upfront purchase of the FSD option into a loan in the vehicle or a lease will be the least expensive plan on a monthly basis to own. Plus, you preserve the option value of increased value over time.
So nothing new there, but it does show that maybe the timeline has moved back just a little bit, but that they're still serious about it.
So this tweet came out last week from Brett Winton, who is an analyst at ARK Invest. He said, Apple's still reputedly planning to build an iCar. The apparent secret sauce? They watched the live stream of Tesla's Battery Day. They also took notes. Then those notes were exclusively leaked to Reuters, so they could hire, hoping to begin production by, check notes, 2025.
Elon says, strange if true. Tesla already uses iron phosphate for medium-range cars made in our Shanghai factory. Also, a monocell is electrochemically impossible, as max voltage is 100 times too low. Maybe they meant cells bonded together like our structural battery pack.
And then Elon continued, during the darkest days of the Model 3 program, I reached out to Tim Cook to discuss the possibility of Apple acquiring Tesla for 1/10 of our current value. He refused to take the meeting.
So, I mean, that's kind of weird. You'd think that if Apple was making an electric car, that they would want to acquire Tesla back when it was a pretty easy deal to do that. So maybe they're just not making an electric car.
Yeah, but according to this Reuters article, which was very light on sources, by the way, someone in Apple's Titan project said that Apple could use LFP batteries. It's next level, the person said of Apple's battery technology, like the first time you saw the iPhone.
LFP batteries, they're not even like as good as like NMC batteries. Like they don't catch on fire as much, which is great.
It kind of shows that whatever source this is at Apple either doesn't really know their stuff or was just trying to
fluff it up. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
The article went on to say, if there is one company on the planet that has the resources to do that, it's probably Apple. But at the same time, it's not a cell phone, said a person who worked on Project Titan. So basically saying Apple would be the one to do it, but it's pretty hard compared to a cell phone.
Right. I mean, Apple has a lot of cash. They could certainly burn a lot of cash trying to make a
how
car.
much they have cash. They could have bought Tesla for about $60 billion.
Right.
$60 billion. It's worth $600 billion right now.
That would just be a good investment. That would be like if someone had told you to like invest in Tesla.
Well, it would be like
back
if
then.
Elon called you up and said, I'm begging you, could you buy my company for this low price?
Right.
2
and then
years
you're like,
ago.
And then you're like, no, we're going to make our own. I mean, maybe at that time, well, a lot has changed in 2 years, right? Tesla has actually proved that you could make a Model 3 style car, which to be honest, is still pretty expensive.
I just hope that when they have a course in business, that on day one and they go through mistakes made throughout history, that this will rank in the top 10.
I mean, just from the valuation alone, yeah, it would have made sense. And
then Apple would have the iPhone of cars.
right. And now they don't.
And now they don't
and
have-
they won't.
Right.
And how would they? Like, I mean, you're gonna have to start from scratch because, as they said, as that person said, as quoted from Project Titan in the Reuters article, it's not a cell phone.
Well, I mean, as they pointed out in the article, last year they fired 190 people on the project. So they're not growing the project,
Right.
apparently.
And I think, again, this is the problem with bloated companies, and Apple is the king of bloated companies. You just don't have that much innovation going on when you're not starving.
And you get to say all the time, but we're the Apple of this.
Right, we're
and
the
Apple
best.
Of
We're the
and
best.
It's like, you're only the best if you make yourselves the best.
Right.
So because of a tip we got from one of our Now You Know Investor Club members, we found out about Eli and their zero electric car that is just coming out now.
We got a chance to interview their founder and CEO, Marcus Lee, to find out more about the company and the car.
So Elon Musk said that starting an electric car company is probably one of the hardest things he's ever done. And this guy has also landed rockets. So why are you starting an electric car company?
Well, he's probably right about it. I think when I started it, my background is in architecture, and I was really looking at this problem from sort of an urban design perspective. So I guess very different from a lot of other automakers who's trying to build a car. What I'm trying to do is trying to rethink what a car can be, not in the technical sense of being faster and bigger and more technologically more advanced, but more thinking about how, cars needs to be redesigned to better serve urban trips and what a car would be if we just start from scratch and just design something that makes sense for cities.
So what makes the Eli Zero, and we're seeing a picture of it here on the screen now, unique to the market? I mean, what is its use case?
It might surprise you, but in US cities today, almost half of our urban trips are in the 3 miles. So conventional cars are generally designed for long distance trips on highway, and people are very focused on acceleration and that kind of stuff. So Eli is more focused on being compact, efficient, clean, and affordable. And we're focusing on attributes that makes daily short trips convenient and fun, and at scale that can actually reduce emission and congestion in cities and communities.
So the Eli Zero is designed in the U.S. to fit in the NEV standard. Can you explain to our viewers what the NEV standard is?
Yeah, sure. So NEV is short for Neighborhood Electric Vehicles. And it's actually a very special category of vehicle that's sort of in between a car and a sort of a scooter or a motorbike. And it's something people are probably more familiar with street legal golf carts. And so these are the type of golf carts that fit into the NEV standard that are have the seat belts and all the safety accessories that is able to be allowed to go on public roads, but limited use case. But they are allowed to go on roads that has a speed limit of less than 45 in most states. But we think this category is fantastic. It has potential to become the sort of the iPad of cars, meaning it's if conventional cars were laptops, it's these kind of NEVs can be perfect for shorter trips, but they can have the potential to cover more than 75% of urban trips, which is a segment that is for short trips under 10 miles.
So you can check out the entire interview on our Disruptive Investing channel. The link will be down in the show notes below.
And also, Marcus joined us on our Now You Know Investor Club live stream a couple of weeks ago, and he answered members' questions. You can see that on Patreon if you join us in our Now You Know Investors Club there. So earlier this year, Nikola Motors and Republic Services, that's a big trash hauling company, they announced that they would work together to design and build an industry-first, fully integrated refuse truck based on a zero-emissions battery electric drive platform.
Yeah, I remember covering that like a month ago, 2 months ago. That was recently, right? Yeah, that was great. Awesome.
Last Wednesday, they announced, after considerable collaboration and review, both companies determined that the combination of the various new technologies and design concepts would result in longer than expected development time and unexpected costs. As a result, the program is being terminated, resulting in the cancellation of the previously announced vehicle order.
Wait, so let me just read between lines there. They said, we're going to make an electric trash truck. And then they went, it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's too hard and we're not a real company.
I think they were never really intending to do it. I think they just wanted to be able to say, hey, look, we got to deal with a big company. That's kind of the MO of Nikola.
What was the long-term plan? Let's say Hindenburg Research never came out with their piece on Nikola. Mm-hmm. Everyone kind of knew that it was already little sketchy.
I don't think everyone knew that. I mean, I think
obviously not. I mean, Republic Services.
It's a $6 billion company.
Right. I remember, Republic Services and GM got in on this company and they're like, you're going to build us some stuff. You're going to build a Badger pickup truck. You're going to build us some big semi trucks. You're going to make us a refuse truck. And they're like, yeah, of course, we'll do whatever you guys want. And then as soon as the truth comes out, is this kind of the plan? Is it like, okay, well, as soon as they figure out that we're just lying to everyone, then we're just whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm going to be off somewhere else.
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay, right. Legally, allegedly.
But what I want to say is, how come a company like Tesla that is producing everything, they don't get believed? So GM and all these other companies are like, they're never going to do it.
Right. But Nikola, whoa, hey,
you came out of nowhere.
Right. That's really, really frustrating.
We saw that truck that was rolling down the hill. That looked great.
Right. As opposed to the semi trucks that
are driving around right now.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, do we have any real cars we can talk about?
Well, I don't know. Is this a real car? So Electrek reported the specs for the Hyundai Ioniq 5 that we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm. So how do they get the specs?
Well, they were reportedly on Hyundai's pre-order page for like a few minutes before they got taken down, but some smart viewers screenshotted them.
Nice.
So this is based on the concept EV45, which they had shown us previously. But here's the specs that they say you'd be getting if you bought the Ioniq 5. So it's an all-wheel drive car with 230 kilowatts of combined power, a WLTP range, I know that's fairly worthless, but of 450 kilometers or 279 miles, 0 to 60 time of 5.2 seconds, 11 kilowatts of AC charging and DC fast charging that'll go 20 to 80% in 15 minutes with an 800 volt pack architecture and bidirectional charging.
Okay, great. Those stats sound pretty good.
Go make it, Hyundai.
But we're missing a pretty important spec there.
What spec would you like?
The price would be good.
They have not reported that.
Okay, because that's like, you can make a car like that. It's just, what's it going to cost?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, they don't know.
Okay, cool.
Would you like to see a commercial?
No, we already did the ads at the top of the show.
Oh, I'm sorry, a Ford commercial.
No, I don't want to see a Ford commercial.
Well, you're going to see one.
Okay.
Come look at the lights.
Dinner's gonna get cold.
We get it. They're Christmas lights.
You want to hurry this up, Clark? I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Be nice, Dad.
Drum roll, please. Joy to the world. Another dud. Hey.
I'll check the turkey.
Oh, I hope no one sees me in my yoga pants.
You mean you're sitting on the couch pants? Incredible, Dad.
Wow. Nice whip, Clark.
Shotgun.
No, I was first.
I'm your dad, so.
I used to have a Mustang back when cars made sounds.
The all-new, all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Joy to the world.
I love that new car smell.
I think those are pine needles, Dad.
Yeah, this is the new Ford commercial for the Mach-E. It's got Chevy Chase in it, replaying his Clark Griswold character from National Lampoon's.
Yeah, and they got Beverly D'Angelo again to play Ellen again. Mm-hmm. Is everyone, they just called them all up and like, how would you like some money?
Yeah!
Hey, you guys haven't been doing anything for a while. You want to make some money?
I'm sorry, this commercial really confused me.
So she flips the switch, which in the movie is the thing, in the original movie, which I just saw because it was Christmas, for the first time, because you never showed it to me.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, so she flicks the switch and that is connected to all the lights and that turns on all the lights. But then she flicks the switch and she plugs in the car. Those two shots are right after each other.
Right.
And then everything turns on.
I thought that the car was powering the lights.
But it's not.
No.
Because
it has nothing to do with
it. It doesn't have bidirectional charge.
No.
So because there would have to be a lot more story to tell. Like
Right.
they'd have to like first he plugged it in and then like they'd cut to the power plant like they do in the movie. Like I could have written you a much better script
Sure.
because that was confusing. And they were just like, we turned on the lights and also there's a car here.
It's electricity.
Right.
Right. How about this commercial, which is actually doing what we're talking about? So Rivian posted this tweet last week showing their R1T pickup truck powering 20,000 Christmas lights in the middle of the woods.
So, I mean, first of all, that's awesome because that's a use case.
Yeah, they plugged it into the truck itself, and we did some math here. So a set of 1,000 LED tree lights uses about 69 watts, and if they use 20 sets for 20,000 lights, that would be about 1,400 watts. You can get that out of a 15 amp, 120 volt circuit. So
just
that's
like a regular wall
outlet here in the US.
Specifically LED lights. So like if you were thinking that those were all conventional bulbs,
then it probably wouldn't be enough power.
Now, we don't know if those are conventional bulbs or if they're LEDs.
We don't.
The cord that they plug in, that's an extension cord wrapped with lights.
Right.
Now, I don't know, that might be some kind of light that I've never seen before.
No, they probably just need to get the power further into the forest.
But I mean, visually, that's a great shot.
Yes.
So obviously, they'd want to do that. I just don't know if you'd ever buy a string of lights that would have a big hefty cord going through the middle of it. It doesn't matter. I mean, I believe that you can do it with the vehicle. If it were incandescent lights, that would be super impressive, but it would also mean that you'd have some kind of crazy plug.
Don't I remember that the Cybertruck is going to have a 240 volt circuit?
240 and 110 as well. So you'd
Right.
be able to, because I mean, most lights don't run on 240.
Right. So, I mean, for camping, this is probably fine, but for like construction, having more power is going to be even better.
Well, and the Rivian is not a construction truck.
No,
it's
it's
an
for-
adventure truck
for lighting up the forest.
lighting up the forest
Yeah.
with fun lights. I mean,
I love
think
it.
it's great. That's great.
And what I want to say is they did it cheaper. They bought a few sets of lights on Amazon for, $100. They went out to the forest and they filmed this. That was their whole budget probably.
So you think having Chevy Chase wouldn't have added anything to this?
I mean-
I think it would have been better with Chevy Chase.
Okay, but they've already sold out their pre-orders. They
No,
don't
that's a
need,
good point.
I mean, the MachE has to sell.
Right. Yeah. No, I think this is great. And we're going to probably be testing out something very similar, although in the middle of June when we get our Rivian.
Yeah, we'll have to do Independence Day lights or something. But back to Ford. Not to be outdone, Ford took to the Twitterverse last Monday and tweeted the new all-electric F-150 doing this.
Okay.
They tweeted out, "Curious how the Ford F-150 BEV prototype stacks up in the snow? See for yourself."
Right. Okay. So first of all, this is the Ford F-150 that isn't coming out yet. We haven't seen any official.
It's not coming out
pictures of it.
till mid-2022.
Right. Okay. But whatever. I'll take some time. I get it. My question is though, here's how the ad could have also worked.
Okay.
It's a truck. It can drive sideways in the snow. Something that any truck can do. None of this footage proves anything, but it's built Ford tough.
I mean, it's cool, right? Gets your
It's not, though.
childhood
You know what?
imagination flowing.
I'm going to just throw this out there. I don't think it's actually that cool because me as a normal person, when I see a truck, I wanted to see it doing powerful, cool things. I don't want to see it slipping in the snow. Like as
don't
a
like seeing it
as a
sideways.
New Englander, I want to see a controlled drive. I do understand showing, cars slipping in the snow, but for some reason this as its own just little 20-second thing did nothing for me.
Well, and we've seen this with all cars, including Teslas. And, you can only get a Tesla to do this if you have track mode.
Right.
It'll do a little bit of slipping and sliding, but it'll correct itself
Right.
a lot.
That's what I want.
I think that would have been a more powerful commercial. It's a bit harder. You need a little bit more, I want to say, political capital to kind of pull it off. You have to suspend the audience's expectations a little bit more to be like, here's our awesome Ford commercial. And it's like a Ford just driving along. It's like,
No, Todd, make it slip in the snow.
and he's like,
No, I could put it in the special slip mode, but I want to drive safely because I have my family in the car.
and then they could cut to the family in the car and you go,
The Ford F-150 electric, it's going to be really safe.
and I know that that's not the same as like,
You have testosterone in your body. Well, got some. Slidey snow, big move.
You know, I understand that that's what they were going for, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't even think they've developed the torque vectoring for it yet.
Right. I mean, that's just like go.
Right.
Like, oh, electric motors.
We got it working.
We plugged them in. You know, yeah.
And honestly, it's just a Rivian. I mean, let's just remember, folks, Ford didn't make this.
No.
They put money into Rivian. They said, can we have one of your skateboards?
And that's, I mean, we haven't seen any Ford F-150s that aren't in this color.
Yeah.
I think it's just one truck, and they pulled a train with it, and then they had a bunch of guys be like, oh, it's a Ford, oh, wow. And then they drove it in the snow.
Yeah.
I don't think that they have more than one. I mean, maybe they have two, just a backup, you know, just in case you smash it. I don't know, Ford, man. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners.
And the 3D configurator there allows you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality. All right, Jesse, you ready? Little quiz here.
Okay.
Guess what this new company does? This is called Stellantis.
Stellantis. So it's like Atlantis, Stella. I'm going to guess that it's a moon casino.
Ooh, how'd you come up with that?
Well, Stella meaning like stars, and then
yeah.
Atlantis. So it's like Atlantis, but in the stars. So maybe it's just like a orbiting. It's an orbital
very
casino.
good guess,
Okay.
but get one more guess.
Okay, then I would guess that it's like just like a local amusement park.
Sorry.
It's like,
Welcome to Stellantis.
This is a kind of a trick question because there's no way you should have been able to guess what it really is. What this really is Fiat Chrysler and French automaker Groupe PSA are merging, and Stellantis is their new name.
that was a good one. Absolutely.
It's not a joke.
So what? No, but what is it actually though?
It's not a joke. That they are becoming the fourth largest automaker with 14 vehicle brands, more than any other. And to prove that I'm telling you the truth there, the first circle around that A has 15 dots, which would be the 14 brands, plus what I think is going to be the 15th brand, which will be an electric brand.
So I think that it's going to be like a company from like a sci-fi movie, kind of like a Avatar. Maybe it's from the new Avatar.
No, I already told you what it is. It's
and that was very funny. I'm just trying to guess what it actually is, because there's no way that they would make a car company called Stellantis. Am I reading this right? Stellantis.
Yes.
Stellantis. No, it's okay. So you're telling. So it's PSA.
So
FCA. What does FCA stand for again?
Fiat Chrysler
What's the A?
Automotive.
Okay. What's PSA?
Peugeot something Automotive.
But it's not just Peugeot.
That was already a conglomeration. They
there's
already merged.
Two merged companies are merging.
Yes.
Why?
Because they're going out of business.
Okay.
So they claim that they're going to save $5.9 billion in annual cost savings by merging.
Because Stellantis is a cheaper name?
I don't know.
I mean, I get it. You can't have it be PSA FCA. You can't have it be
That would, right.
Pacifica.
That
would be
what
bad.
What kind of car are you buying? Oh, I'm getting a Pacifica.
Pacifica. Funny enough, they have a Pacifica. You can get a hybrid Pacifica.
That was it. Pacifica.
No. Stellantis is way cooler.
But Pacifica, that rolls off the tongue better.
But that's just the name of one.
I know, but Stellantis.
I get
How
it.
much did they pay the consulting company for that name? All right, we've got 3 possible names. Everyone sit down. This is going to be exciting.
I think it could work.
The first possible name is Stellantis.
No, you know what? I've turned right around on the name.
You're already buying it?
I'm already into it now. Stellantis. It's like you wouldn't expect it. So that's what makes it so good.
So if I said to you, like, I'm thinking of getting the new Stellantis Jeep.
It's growing on me. The name's growing on me.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just like you don't say that, I'm getting a FCA Dodge Ram.
True. But by the way, can you name all of the 14 brands that they now control?
Okay. So there's Fiat.
Good.
There's Chrysler.
Yep.
Peugeot. Jeep.
Yep.
Because you said that one. Ram. Dodge. How many more do I need to do?
That was 6. You need 8 more.
Saturn?
That's GM, but that's a dead brand.
No, okay. Okay. Oldsmobile?
That's GM.
No. Okay.
Think of the ones that came from Peugeot. You don't know any of the ones that came from Peugeot.
Peugeot-y.
Peugeot came from Peugeot.
Didn't I already say Peugeot?
Maybe you did.
Okay.
I'm going to list them here.
Okay.
Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, Abarth, and Lancia. Then you got Peugeot, Citroën, Opel, Vauxhall, and DS.
Wow, that's a lot.
Now, name all the electric cars they have.
Okay, wait.
It's far fewer.
The Fiat 500e.
Good. It's 3 more.
The
We talked about one a week or so ago. It's new. Think of coffee.
The Mocha.
The Mocha E.
Mocha E.
That's by
Okay.
Vauxhall. Good.
Okay.
Two more. One of them you're not going to think of because it's in America, but it has a different brand in Europe. It's very popular here in America.
Tesla.
No, they don't own Tesla.
No, okay. The Bolt.
The Bolt, which is...
Oh, the Ampere E.
Ampere E.
Wait, do they make that? Can they really
no,
claim
they don't
that?
make that.
Okay.
No. GM makes that, but they don't make it
Okay,
either.
okay.
LG makes it.
Okay. I don't know. You stumped me.
The Peugeot E208.
Oh, which
That
I've never
just rolls off the tongue.
I've never
too.
got to see.
I
in
bet
real
the
life.
same consulting company that came up with the name of that came up with Stellantis.
208 sounds pretty cool.
Okay.
Stellantis, I'm kind of flipping back.
You don't like it anymore.
I don't know.
So Stellantis will be based in the Netherlands with major operations in Auburn Hills, Michigan, Paris, and Italy. PSA's CEO, Carlos Tavares, will lead Stellantis, with FCA chairman John Elkin continuing in the same role. One of those, I'm still the boss. No, I'm still the boss.
So they're co-CEOs?
No, one's a chairman, one's a CEO. So we reported recently that Michigan lawmakers had been about to pass language in a bill that would have officially allowed Tesla to operate in the state of Michigan.
That's great.
Because currently, remember, Tesla is operating under a loophole where they have to set up a subsidiary and then register cars in neighboring states, which is a pain. But when that bill got to the House floor, it was amended to close the loophole and quickly passed, which would have meant that Tesla was locked out of Michigan.
But you just said that it passed.
The bill passed the House. But remember how it works, folks.
I'm
You got
just
the
a bill. I forget the whole song. But yeah.
You got the House, you got the Senate, and then you get the governor. So what just happened was the Senate never voted on the bill. So it is now effectively dead.
So
we are effectively back to where we started.
So that's good?
It's good, kind of, in the sense that they didn't lock Tesla out, but still Tesla has to operate under a loophole. So,
okay, so they would have fixed it, and then they were like, hey, instead of fixing it, we're going to break it.
Right.
And then they're like, actually, we're going to do nothing.
Right. So
that was
good job,
the biggest
Michigan.
nothing story.
A lot of wasted time. So start again next year, guys, and maybe get it right. So check this out, Jess. There's a new car company in town.
Oh, okay.
California startup Alpha Motors Corporation has revealed its Ace Coupe with this cool retro styling. They call it the quintessential urban electric vehicle set to transform zero-emission mobility.
It looks pretty flashy. What do we got for stats?
But can we just stop? Is that real or is that CGI? You're really good at telling. The reflections look real. But,
yeah, but I mean, you can do reflections.
But it looks too clean or something.
Yeah, I think that's not real because they don't ever show it moving.
Right.
I think it's all CGI.
Okay,
at the
so-
moment, which is okay. You know, you got to make the model before you can make the pasta.
You have to make the model before you make the pasta.
You got to
That's
make
got to be a T-shirt.
You got to make this. You got to model it and then you can build it. But they haven't built it yet. That's all CGI.
Okay, so here are the stats, though. 250 miles of range, that's 400 kilometers. 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. 14 cubic feet of cargo space. Now, this is actually a hatchback, but it's kind of hard to tell.
Interesting.
And it's built on a modular platform, so their next vehicle out will be this, the Icon EUV, or electric utility vehicle.
That one looks a lot more fake because it doesn't have a real background. It's just black.
So Alpha Motors is taking pre-orders on their website for the Ace Coupe.
This is kind of like Schrodinger's cat kind of thing. You don't know if it's real or fake. It's in the box right now.
You want to believe it because it's really good looking.
Well, so like there's a lot.
But we don't know the price.
It's like a box within a box within a box. Like we need to first see a prototype. Then I go like, oh, they have someone who can actually
build something.
Use a wrench. Great. Which like knocks out a whole bunch of companies. Then you'd have like, oh, here's our plant where we can make these. And then they would make them and then they would sell them to real people.
Yep.
So like it looks great. I mean, I will say that the styling on at least their coupe looks fantastic. But like if you don't have to manufacture it, you can make anything look any way you want because it's not real.
And if you don't have to give us a price.
Yeah.
then we don't know what we're paying.
Yeah. Okay.
So there is a problem being reported that's related to the recent Tesla cold weather over-the-air update that unlocks the charging cable. Remember, they sent out that update because us in our colder climates here, when we stick in our charger, sometimes if it's been cold and a little weird weather, like with wetness, it freezes in there and the little lock thing freezes. So Tesla had issued an over-the-air update so that if it got below 32 degrees and it was freezing out, that little lock thing wouldn't come down and lock it in place.
Oh, so that way you wouldn't ever like not be able to drive your car because it would be connected to a thing. Well, that's great.
But unintended consequences here. Some thieves in Europe apparently have taken advantage of this to steal charging cables.
Weird that it's just Europe. So they're just unplugging the car and they're going, we unplugged your car.
And they're stealing the cable.
How do you do that? It's connected to the charger.
You're thinking of American chargers. In Europe, if you remember when we were in Europe, a lot of the chargers just look like this. They're just a box with a female outlet, and you bring your own charger cable with you from the car, and you plug in a male end there and a male end into the car, and then you charge up. So the thieves are taking advantage of the fact that they can unplug it at the car, and in some charging boxes, unplug it at the charger, and then they're taking the what could be a €200 or €300 cable and selling it on the black market. On the black market.
Oh, so that's not good.
Is there a black market for EV parts?
There is.
The dark web.
I don't think it's
I got
the
my
dark
charger
web. No,
on the dark web.
I think because there's no way to track.
Right. Now
and
you can just
trace
sell it on
a
eBay.
Cable,
Or
you
whatever.
just sell it on eBay for less. This is a tough one because I don't want to get stuck somewhere, but I also don't want to get stuck somewhere because I don't have a charging cable.
I have solved the problem.
Well, okay.
I will give you the problem, Tesla, if you will name us the VPs of special operations. No, I'll give it to you for free. You should make this a software option. Do I want to lock my cable right now? If you're in your driveway, you'd be like, no. If you're out somewhere like in South Amsterdam, you might be like, yes.
I see. And basically, it would give you a warning. It would say, are you sure you want to lock your cable? Because it might become frozen in your car. And you say, yes, because I'm worried about thieves.
Right.
And that would just give you a bit more flexibility. The cool part is that Tesla could do this. They could
We
turn around
can't
and
keep
fix it.
giving you these for free, Tesla. We got to be named VP of Special Operations.
Maybe we could just be the unofficial VP of Special
I'll take
Operations.
it. It's fine.
As long as you listen to us.
I don't need a salary.
As long as this stuff gets implemented.
I just want a title and to solve problems. That's all I want.
I could go without the title.
I
Could be
would
an
take
unofficial title.
I would take a direct line to Elon. That's all I need.
Again,
hello, Elon. You're
if you
VP of Special Operations
If
here.
you just listen to us and you implement what we say, which you're probably going to do anyway because it's just like an obvious idea, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't need to be anything.
And then in parentheses on the software update, it could say, brought to you by VPs of Special Operations. So last week marked the end of the VW e-Golf. The final e-Golf rolled out of the VW factory in Dresden last Wednesday.
So wait, I thought that they had already stopped producing this.
They stopped producing them in another one of their factories in Wolfsburg. They were continuing for a few more, limping along, making a few more, and then they just stopped. So there were a respectable number made. 145,561 e-Golfs were made between 2014 and 2020.
Wow. I mean, that's more than I thought.
Yeah, it was a well-loved car. I mean, we've driven around in one before. It was very fun.
It was fun. It still had the compliance range and everything, but there were some nice features. They had like the front would prevent fogging without having to use the heat system because it had like little silver stuff in it.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? Like that was a neat innovation. But now it's gone. So why did they stop the production?
Well, because they're ramping up the production of the ID3 and they needed the factory space. So
okay.
Now you remember Xpeng, the Chinese EV maker that copied Tesla, and then they stole some of Tesla's technology.
Yeah.
Because they're currently being sued by Tesla over that AP software that they stole. Well, Xpeng have started shipping cars to Norway.
Really?
Yeah, the first 100 Xpeng G3s arrived in Norway last week, and the G3 in Norway starts at 358,000 Norwegian kroner. Pretty good price, huh?
How much is that in numbers that I'm used to?
Oh, you don't know Norwegian kroner?
No, not.
How about if I give it to you in euros? 33,700 euros.
Okay. And in dollars?
$41,000. The CEO of Xpeng, He Xiaopeng, said this week's customer deliveries in Norway represent a key milestone in Xpeng's aspirations to become a truly international smart EV brand. Our launch in Europe comes just as consumers are shifting in increasingly large numbers to more sustainable personal transport, and where governments around the world are stepping up their zero-emission efforts. We look forward to being a significant driver in accelerating that transition. So what do you think? Is Xpeng going to be the next big EV player?
Could be. I mean, I think Norway is a pretty obvious country to choose. They're pretty much switching to EVs faster than any other country on earth. I mean, it's like an obvious choice. That doesn't mean that it's like going to impress me that much, because I think any EV would sell there. I'm excited to see what Xpeng can do. Hopefully they stop stealing technology. I mean, they haven't allegedly stolen any technology recently. Allegedly.
Maybe they're done with that.
Maybe they're done with that, and maybe they have the team that they need in order to do it themselves.
Speaking of consumers, Consumer Reports surveyed 3,300 Americans with valid driver's licenses in July and August, and they came up with some more data about EV interest.
So the first one is to be expected. The younger the driver, the more interested in getting an EV. But it's important to note that all the age groups are over 50% interested.
Yeah, I mean, even the silent generation, which never...
They never say anything. That's why they're called the silent generation. No, I mean... A majority of the silent generation would be interested in purchasing an EV.
That's amazing. And as you can see, I mean, it goes up to 78% for millennials.
Right.
I mean, so as you get younger, they get more interested. 71% said that they had at least some interest in getting an EV at some point. 31% said they would consider getting an EV for their next purchase.
And I mean, that's pretty fantastic.
But some barriers that came up during the report. First is people want more kinds of EVs. The second is consumer-friendly EV charging rates. I'm not sure who they expect the electricity to come from. I mean, because like governments don't give you cheap gas.
Well, yeah, again, this...
In fact, governments tax gas to make it more expensive. So
right, this isn't... These people don't necessarily own EVs and don't exactly know what they're talking about. We're going to get into that later.
Third is people would like EV purchasing rebates. So they would like, tax credits and stuff, which there are a lot of. And third, they would like to invest in EV infrastructure, which I agree. They want to have more charging capabilities. But the biggest barriers to getting an EV seem to be more than 50% of people wanted range and the availability of chargers. They're worried, that hey, I'm going to run out of juice. About half surveyed said they want an EV that will travel at least 300 miles.
Right.
43% said purchase price is holding them back. 30% said insufficient knowledge about EVs is holding them back. And 28% said the lack of a place to charge one at home is holding them back.
So I think that actually the biggest thing, and I know that they actually reported on it, but the real thing that's holding everyone back is insufficient knowledge about EVs, because a lot of these things here are kind of myths, kind of misconceptions about EVs, things that if you were an expert, which of course they don't have to be, I'm not complaining, you would know and you would feel a little bit more comfortable with. There was another study a while back where they actually interviewed a bunch of people. They said, oh, do you want an EV? And they got that data. Then they had like a little course for them to take about EVs where they taught them all of the different things. After that, after they had learned a little bit more, the number like doubled.
It's called the Butts and Seats course.
If you have a friend who has an EV and has the time to kind of walk you through what buying an EV would look like, of like, okay, well, which car do you want to get? You're like, oh, you want a Model 3, you want a Leaf, you want a Bolt, where are you going to be charging it? What kind of activities do you want to be doing? Like, oh, you're going on a trip somewhere, let's go look at where the chargers are. All of it is kind of on a case-by-case basis. Like charging infrastructure, case-by-case basis. I went to a school and they had chargers in all the parking lots. And so for me, getting a Leaf with a low range, no brainer. If I were to go to a school in the same city that didn't have EV chargers in the parking lots, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. So it's really a case-by-case basis for most people as to whether or not they can do an EV.
All right, it's time for Going Green. So if you watch this show a lot, you might be wondering, why doesn't the U.S. have offshore wind?
We have some offshore wind farms.
We only just got our first offshore wind farm in 2016, and it's pretty small. It's just 30 megawatts versus Denmark that pioneered offshore wind in the 1970s and today provides over half of their electricity needs with over 6 gigawatts of offshore wind.
And I mean, just size comparison wise, that's pretty pathetic for the United States to be that small. So why doesn't the U.S. have more offshore wind then? We have plenty of coastline.
Yeah, it's essentially the same reason why we don't have more solar or EVs. Big fossil fuel companies see offshore wind as a threat because, let's face it, there's over 2,000 gigawatts of potential offshore wind power just sitting off our coasts, more than double the energy needed to power the United States every single year. If we built enough offshore wind, we wouldn't need coal and natural gas power plants anymore. But the other reason is batteries. The grid needs big batteries to help balance the grid.
Okay, but now we have cheap wind turbines and big, cheap batteries.
Yep, and that's why we're starting to see more stories like this. Last week, New Jersey's Governor, Phil Murphy, announced that New Jersey is investing $250 million in a new manufacturing facility to build steel components for the offshore wind industry.
Those are big parts.
Yeah, that plant there will be built at the Paulsboro Marine Terminal in South Jersey and will create more than 500 high-paying jobs when fully built out. Governor Murphy said, offshore wind is a once-in-a-generation opportunity that allows us to protect our environment while significantly expanding and securing the state's economy for the immediate and long term. This is the largest industrial offshore wind investment in the United States to date and will create hundreds of high-paying jobs at a time when New Jersey's economy has been ravaged by the COVID-19 pandemic. In June, Murphy also announced plans to develop the New Jersey Wind Port in Lower Alloways Creek. It's the first in the nation infrastructure investment in facilities for manufacturing and assembling offshore wind projects. And how smart is that? You take a state in the mid-Atlantic, right? And you start making everything you need for wind. They're going to be the go-to place to build offshore wind.
Right.
It's time for Into the Future. So back in 2010 at the Lapland University of Applied Sciences, the founders of Aurora Powertrains started designing an electric snowmobile for use as a way of tourists to travel quietly in the Arctic wilderness.
Today, Aurora eMotion is a reality. You can travel on an Arctic safari on one of 20 Aurora e-sleds for 1 to 1.5 hours, and charging only takes an hour, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, there's packages starting from 89 euros up to 189 euros. And you can take like a sunrise safari, you can take a northern lights safari, all on a quiet e-sled, which is kind of like we took a quiet sled through northern Sweden, but it was powered by dogs.
It was a little smellier, and it wasn't that
that quiet. You're right, they barked a lot.
I mean, it had snowed here recently, and the roads were atrocious, and part of me was like, I kind of want an electric snowmobile.
Yeah.
It would just be so much nicer than a regular snowmobile, which you have to maintain. In all the ways, you have to maintain a gas engine. So I think it's a no-brainer.
I mean, I think when the world opens up again, this would be a really fun trip.
Definitely.
All right, it's time for sunspots. So it seems that Congress actually stuffed a Christmas present into the nation's stockings right before Christmas.
Well, what is it?
With the passage of the $1.4 trillion omnibus package last week, the federal ITC U.S. solar tax credits that were going to expire in a few days were instead extended for 2 more years. That's right. The 26% tax credit for solar PV systems on your house will now continue through 2022.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how can people take advantage of this?
That's right. They can call up our friends at Energy Pals, and they can ask them all the questions they need to get solar on their house, and they can get this nice big tax bonus.
Right, because, I mean, I don't know how to get it.
Right.
So ask people who actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah, link down below in the show notes. All right, it's time for a video contributor story. What do we got this week, Jess?
We have this video from Lawrence.
Hi, my name's Chad, and I'm 12 years old, and I love Teslas.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. I'm Lawrence Lineback, a Tesla owner, and I have 3 kids at Louisiana State University who are part of Dance Marathon LSU, a philanthropic student organization raising money for sick kids. When I heard Chad's story about how much he loved Teslas, I knew I had to surprise him with a ride in this Model S. I am leaving today to drive 700 miles from Orlando to Baton Rouge to give this inspiring kid a surprise of a lifetime. Let's get going.
In July of 2017, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. Originally, when I was diagnosed, I felt like almost as if I just was gonna die. Hearing that you're diagnosed with something like that, it's just scary. And it was just really emotional. Doing Dance Marathon has given me like a lot of opportunities as a person with an illness to just do more in life, and to also just know that kids like me, we just can do whatever we want now. Our illness does not define us at all, and we can just achieve goals that we may not think of. I love Teslas. I want them to be my first car. The huge screen in the car was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Almost like a little computer in the car.
So you've been in one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever like ridden in a Tesla?
No.
Never? Do you know anyone who has one?
No, not that I know of.
Would you want to take a ride in one though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Turn around. What is that, Sally? What is that? Go around.
Model S.
Here, come get your Which one is it?
The Model S.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
You can chatter. You like speechless. What do you think?
I don't know what to say.
Would you want to go for a ride? Yeah? Yeah. You good?
Let's go. What do you want to see? What do you think is cool?
I like the self-driving.
Self-driving? Oh, all right, we're going to do that. So we're going to do all the self-driving. So what's cool about it is I just got an update yesterday. When we get on the highway, I'll show you the acceleration. That's really cool. I mean, it flies. All right, let me just show you right here. Right, you want to see, feel the acceleration? Actually, it's funny. My wife, whenever we're driving, if I'm distracted at a red light, it turns green. Then she always says green because she wants me to go because I'm like looking at my phone or something. Now the car will beep at you when the light turns green to let you know you can go. So you're not yelling at people like, go, it's green.
What was your favorite part?
No, it was so much. I'm still impressed by the fact that there's a trunk in front of the car, like on the front of the car. So I think that's just my favorite part about it. I'm just almost like still speechless.
It was so great coming down here from Orlando, spending some time with Chad and showing them the Tesla.
Help support kids like me with the link on the screen.
And now you know.
Wow, now wasn't that lovely?
Oh my God, where's the tissue paper?
I know. So we put the link down in the description below where you can go donate to that cause. Because wasn't that nice?
That was super nice.
Yeah, it was really great.
Wow.
So thank you so much, Lawrence. That was wonderful.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. If you want to support this channel for as little as $1 a month and get to see all of our bonus stories, they're all available to you over at Patreon. So go check them out.
Well, that was, I think, the best Patreon bonus story we've ever done.
Wow, really?
I do believe so. It was very deep. We got into a lot of different topics. We got very off track.
As we usually do.
Probably pissed off some people, but that's what you got to do if you want to talk about real stuff. Yeah, if you were on the fence, this might be the week to just give it a shot. Try it out. It's only $1 a month. Just see what you think.
Who do we got for Patreon shout-outs this week?
We have a lot of people. We have Ryan Bello,
Andreas Mueller,
Ismail Fenor,
Daryl Stinson,
Gregory Free,
David Jennings,
Jason Hofsetz,
Richard Weaver,
Kofu,
Parthasarathi Govind,
Opia GC,
Ajit Kanse,
Topline Gear,
Edgar Valdez,
Henrik,
Andreas Ernstberger,
Revia 2212,
and Ids Boonstra.
Thank you so much for supporting this channel. We can't do it without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week. Marquise said, serious question. Why don't more electric car makers take up Tesla on their offer to use the supercharging network? Incompatible tech, hidden fees, pride? There's got to be a good reason.
And Elon said, they are, although it's kind of low key. Tesla superchargers are being made accessible to other electric cars. So, which ones though, actually? So this low key.
Is he talking about like a few months ago when like we saw that in Europe, a bunch of like VWs were able to use the charging network?
Yeah. I mean, does he just mean that they're in talks? Does he mean that like you could literally take a car that you don't know could go on the supercharger network?
Is he talking about the Aptera?
Right. I mean, it could be the Bollinger, it could be the Aptera, it could be the Rivian. There's a lot of ones that it could definitely like.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard to do.
More info. Elon.
Yeah, we need some more on that.
Tesla owner Silicon Valley said Tesla 10,981% stock up in the past decade. What a journey, Elon.
Elon said indeed. Yeah, that's pretty good gains, I'd say.
In the past decade,
we've only gone up about
10,000%.
Elon said, thanks to everyone who worked so hard to make Tesla successful. My heart goes out to you.
And Liz Clayman said, as Tesla joins the S&P today, I have a special treat for you guys. And yes, that includes you, Elon. 3 p.m. Eastern, I'll reveal where you can come along with me as I test drove a Tesla Model Y. See you at Fox Business in an hour.
And Elon said, hi, Liz. So wait, so that Fox News is going to
Fox News is all about the
They're
Tesla.
getting in a Tesla now.
Yeah.
Just because they're in the S&P 500.
Hey, now we're talking.
That's what we're talking about. You get in the S&P 500 and doors open for you, you know?
Dave Lee said, I propose Elon to form a holding company called X. X's mission is to ensure human survival and progress. X becomes the parent company of Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and Boring Company. Elon, what do you think?
Elon said, good idea.
And then Dave said, personally, I think Elon is the best investor of capital and innovator at scale in our generation, and that might be an understatement. This is an opportunity to create a structure that would optimize his time and interest the most.
Elon said, engineering, design, and general company operations absorb the vast majority of my mind and are the fundamental limitation on doing more. Capital allocation is important, but low CPU load. Tesla public company duties are much bigger factor, but going private is impossible now. Sigh. So I think that this is a bad idea. I'm sorry, Dave. I just think that you're making a big target for all of Elon's companies. Like, if Boring Company went down one day, you know, if they were just like, it's impossible to dig a tunnel. It'd be great if Tesla and SpaceX and, Neuralink could all continue as companies and not be hampered by any of the others' progress.
Elon tweeted out, 12-story rocket turns off its engines and does a controlled fall. And if you haven't seen this video yet, which is basically a shortened version of the SN8 trial, gotta go see it.
What are you doing?
It's a must-see.
What is wrong? Like, how did you make it this far in the show and you haven't seen
so cool.
that test?
It explains, it makes it much more understandable about what's going on.
You're in YouTube right now. Go search SN8 SpaceX and just watch it.
And Marcus House said, interesting, they are using Pad B this time around. I wonder what the possibility will be of seeing SN10 sitting there on Pad A alongside.
And Elon said, coming soon. So yeah, they fixed SN9, which had toppled over, had fallen. Apparently it's got good crumple zones, which debunks the whole argument that everyone's been saying about the Cybertruck. They're like, it's not going to crumple. It's a dangerous car. The Starship crumpled. It's made out of the exact same material, so you can't. And they fixed it. And it looks like they're going to be launching it any day now, so that's exciting.
And Viv said, how far out is first Super Heavy hop?
Elon said a few months. So the Super Heavy is the rocket that goes under Starship to get it into space, and then Starship can go to Mars, the moon, whatever you want to do, and come back.
Yeah. Lex Friedman said Mars economy will run on crypto. David said Dogecoin, most likely. Right, Elon? Elon's World said Mars coin, and Elon said
yes.
To which one?
Yes.
Harsmaran said, so can we safely conclude that none of your other companies will be going public anytime soon?
Elon said it will most likely make sense for Starlink to go public once the revenue growth is reasonably predictable.
Yes, Starlink IPO, what I'm waiting for. And then Elon told us all to have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.
Yep. And he said that he wouldn't model the short shorts. He said that he would save us all that nightmare. Thanks, Elon.
And Steve Wozniak said, my thought today, when we go to Mars and start a new culture, we should bring dogs with us.
And Elon said, definitely.
Maybe not on the first ship.
Why not? Dogs are great.
I just feel like they need a place to run around.
Right. Well,
you're going to put a little dog helmet on and, okay, go, Fido.
Go outside.
Imagine when they experience low gravity. All right, so we had a poll last week on Patreon. What was it?
Yes, we asked, it was kind of an interesting question. We said, if Tesla released the current Beta 7 to all purchasers of full self-driving, but raised the price of full self-driving to $12,000, would you buy it?
What did people say?
And so, kind of split. Only 12 people said that they would never get full self-driving. 129 people said that 12,000 is too much for the features of Beta 7. Of course, this was last week, so Beta 8 hadn't come out yet. Then 157 people said yes, assuming that we would get continued improvements over time. It would be worth it. 30 people said that it would be worth more than 12,000.
Okay.
And 289 people said that they already bought it for less.
Wow, that's a big... I didn't expect so many people to have it. All right, it's time for Community Mail Time. So Natalia and her brother, who are coders, and they're working on a game right now for the Teslas, are showing off their 2 Teslas.
Wow. Do you want to make the game so you can play it in your car?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
also,
great.
probably makes your car tax deductible.
Yeah. And
I got to test my game.
And Seth sent us a picture of his dog. And Yeah, send us some more dog pictures, please, in your Tesla watching the news or something like that. That'd be great. Thank you so much, Seth.
What's the name of his dog?
He didn't say.
Because I feel like we should be saying like...
We need to know the names of the dogs, so be sure to include the names of the dogs when you send us the pictures of your dogs. We want to see your dogs more than you.
All right, it's time for Supercharger Reviews. These are sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. If you're looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla, then check out Evannex and use our discount code NowYouKnow to save you $10 on your purchases over $100.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is Joyce reporting from the Gettysburg, Pennsylvania brand new Tesla Supercharger version 3. It's got 8 stalls and interesting configuration. 3 are pull-ins and 2 are set off to the side. There's a Sheetz nearby, right across there. Sheet drinks and sodas and all that food stuff you need, and hotels nearby, other food establishments nearby, right off the highway too, very close to Route 15, and an excellent place for a supercharger. I've been waiting for one in this area for a long time, so it's a great addition to the network. Now you know.
Hey there, Zach and Jesse. Patrick from Concord, California at the Willows. They have a brand new 16 stall next to the Veranda Shopping Center where they have a supercharger station. Looks like it's 350 amp stall here. There's plenty of shopping, Whole Foods, there's a half-price books, play area for the kids right at the veranda, movie theater. It's right next to the freeway, so when I go to work in the morning, I can count how many Model Ys are gonna be parked here. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. This is Rob McGee. I'm here at my hometown, Salem, Oregon, where they just opened this new 12 stall, version 3, 250 kilowatt supercharger in the parking lot of this Target, which is just about 3 miles or so off of, or 3 minutes or so off of I-5. There's Subway over there. There's a restaurant there and another one behind it, and McGrath's Fish House across the way. I'd rate it about a 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. Now you know.
Hey, and didn't you get a Christmas present that was bought at Evannex?
I did. I got the Frunk cooler. So can't wait to use that when it is not freezing outside to go on a picnic or something like that.
Nice. Okay, what do we got for new superchargers this week?
We have the 12 stall version 3 in Niort, France, which I didn't say correctly. Apologize.
We have the 8 stall version 3 in Montrose, Colorado.
We have the 4 stall 150 kilowatt in McLean in New South Wales. It's probably McLean. Sorry, again.
We have the 8 stall version 3 in Williamsburg, Virginia.
We have the 8 stall version 3 in Winter Garden, Florida, which I could say I got that one.
You know, the king of Winter Garden should be Martin. He should come rule over it.
Winter Garden. Oh my God, I didn't even notice that. That's fun.
We have the 8 stall version 3 in Newbridge, Edinburgh, UK.
We have the 8 stall version 3 in Lippetal, Germany. I think I got that one right.
Sounds like a drug. We have number 22 in Austria, the 12 stall version 3 in Aston, Austria.
We have the 3 stall urban supercharger in Knoxville at Nayland Drive in Tennessee.
We have the 4 stall 150 kilowatt in Cedar City, Utah.
We have the 16 stall version 3 in Webersenbrunn, Germany. Dang, I was good on Germany until that one.
We have the 4 stall 250 kilowatt in Nürburgring at the Motorsport Hotel in Germany.
We have the 3 stall version 3 in Chuang Phat in Hong Kong.
The 8 stall 250 kilowatt in Entiat, Washington.
We have the 4 stall 125 kilowatt in Jebel Ali in the United Arab Emirates.
And we got the 16 stall 250 kilowatt in Granada Hills, California.
We have the 20 stall urban supercharger in Irvine on Main Street in California.
The 12 stall version 3 in München at the Passing Arcade in Germany.
And number 106 in Canada, 2,097 in the world, the 8 stall version 3 in Canmore, Route 1A in Alberta, Canada.
Wow.
That was a whole bunch.
That was a last-minute Christmas present.
There was a lot of superchargers there.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway. If you want to get in our big barrel of fun, just join us on Patreon. The more you support us, the more often we put your name in. Who's our winner this week, Jess?
The
winner's going to get this beautiful poster envy poster of
Is
Starman.
Tyler Saucier.
Congratulations, Tyler. You're getting Starman. So as we wind down 2020, I just want to say a big thank you for watching and being part of this amazing community. You have a lot of choices of what to watch, and Jesse and I really appreciate you spending your time with us, because I'd like to reminisce for a second. When I was a kid, there weren't many sources of up-to-date information. You had the daily newspaper, you had the nightly TV news, and basically you had to take what you got. But now, on your phone, you can get more news than you can possibly read. All week long, Jesse and I are reading and writing and scribbling and watching, and we're trying to gather up all the interesting stories for you. We're trying to find the missing links, the connections, the height, to give you that better perspective on what's really happening. Because let's face it, most of these news sources have no idea what's really happening. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon. Thank you for sharing and liking and subscribing. It all helps us grow so that we can bring you more.
Thank you so much for watching.
Now you know.